Okay, so as you know, I had a baby girl back in September 20th, just to be exact, 2019. And so it pretty much started September 19th. So the day before, about what, 2 a.m., I had some of my bloody show coming, and really it was just coming out like a little bit at a time. It wasn't like all at once. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good. Literally 24 hours later, which was Friday morning around 2 a.m. on the 20th, I started having like some contractions, but they were very mild and they were very inconsistent. So I'm like, okay, these must be Braxton Hicks. I'm gonna be okay, whatever, go back to sleep. I wake up about like 8 something, and my boyfriend Elijah had to be at work at 9, and just so happened my mama was like at a doctor's appointment, so she was off. And so I remember like having contractions around 8 something, and Elijah asking me like, hey, like, you sure you don't want me to stay at home? I can stay at home. I feel like you're gonna have her today. I'm like, no, I'm good. It's Braxton Hicks. I'm not gonna have her. I'll be okay. He kept on being consistent and persistent about it. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, whatever. Just stay home just in case. And so a few minutes later, my mama ended up calling and was like, hey, you need to just go to the hospital, because I had already texted her letting her know, like, oh, I keep going to the bathroom, like my contractions. At that time, I started keeping count of them, and they were like, I know for a fact before I actually decided to be like, okay, it's something up. I had like 8 or 9 contractions in 1 hour, but they were very inconsistent and they weren't as steady as my doctor told me to make sure they were. So I was like, okay. But during the time when I was actually having my contractions, what I was doing was like I was laying on the bed. Like, we have a couch right here. So I was like kind of like leaning over on the couch, and my body was on the bed. I was like on all fours, like, just breathing in, inhaling and exhaling, just going with the flow, not tensing up, just taking my time and just actually going through the contraction, just being one with the contraction so it wouldn't hurt me that much. So I did that for about, I say about an hour or so. Yeah, roughly about an hour. And then that's when, I ended up telling my mama. And crazy thing is, like, my hospital bag wasn't even packed, because actually she was due literally a week later. So I'm like, I have time this weekend. I'm gonna, make my hospital bag. No. So while I was actually having my contractions, me and Elijah was like both making my hospital bag, making his hospital bag, making sure we have everything we needed for her. It was just so crazy. So anyway, so we ended up meeting my mom at the hospital. I go in, and it's a little area called the triage, where it's like about 3 or 4 different beds in there. You have a curtain just basically to check you to see like if you really are dilated or if they're Braxton Hicks. And me, I'm thinking, okay, they're Braxton Hicks, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna have to go back home. So what, I changed in my gown and all of that good stuff, and they hooked me up to the machines, check my blood pressure, make sure everything is okay. And meanwhile, yeah, I'm still having like contractions and stuff, but I'm just kind of just, like I said, I was being one with my contractions. I wasn't tensing up. I was just relaxing and just, going with the flow, like just making sure I stay as relaxed as I possibly could. And so they actually checked me. Now, prior to this, I have never been checked. I was always afraid to get checked, because I've heard different people say, oh, it hurts when they check you. I just heard all these different things. So I was like, no, I don't want to get checked like at my previous appointments. So this time when I was actually in the triage, I was like, you know what, I need to go ahead and get checked, because I am having contractions. I need to just see where I'm at, because really I was trying to kind of wait like a day or so, because my daddy and some of my family was gone on vacation. So I was kind of trying to wait, because they was going to come back the next day. So anyway, they end up checking me. Come to find out, I was in between 4 to 5 centimeters dilated and didn't even know. Like, the whole time, didn't even realize while I was at home, I was actually going through my early labor. So now, okay, so I'm at the hospital, 4 to 5 centimeters, and now it's actually active labor, because I'm like in midway with my centimeters. So so then that's when I was like, okay, yes, we're gonna keep you here, you about to get admitted. Only thing is, they didn't have no private room for me. So it's like me, my mama, and my boyfriend, we just like sitting in this little room waiting for available room to come. And it's just like, oh my goodness, like for me personally, I wasn't able to do all the different things that I wanted to do to make sure that I was as comfortable as I could, because again, I didn't have any privacy or anything. So then that's when I had to just do some alternatives, which was just sit my bed up, because of course, you know, you can move it how you want. Just elevate my bed, and I had some ice chips. I asked the nurse, but actually she recommended me get ice chips. So it's like, yes, because by this time I'm like super dehydrated. All I want to do is like drink water, because especially my last few weeks, that's all I wanted to do. And so anyway, I'm just eating my ice chips, just focusing. I had my bed elevated and everything. And so I was just like taking my time, just like going through the contractions, ignoring everything else. Because of course, I wasn't the only one in there. It was like 2 more other women that were like also going through contractions and in labor. So it's like I had to focus like just inside my little bubble until finally, I think it took like maybe 2 to 3 hours for them to actually like have me a room ready. So I ended up going to my room, and by this time, like, okay, it's go time. Everything I practiced with my birthing plan, like everything I know I wanted to do, I need to make sure while I'm in this room I'm gonna do it. I had like cue cards. I wanted to make sure I got on the birthing ball, the peanut ball. I had all these different things I wanted to make sure I did, so I can stay away from the epidural and just make sure I did everything naturally. So when I actually get in the room, you know, we all get settled and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, birthing ball, let's go straight to the birthing ball. This is what I want to do. Everybody's body is different. Everybody contractions are different. Everybody pain tolerance is different. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there now. So when I actually got on the birthing ball, it wasn't for me, because actually when I was explaining how contractions was gonna be, I was told it was gonna be my whole stomach area, aka my uterus that was pushed up. I was told that was gonna contract, as well as I was gonna have back pain and feel it in my butt. That's what a doctor told me. So I'm like, okay, that's one reason I didn't realize I was already in labor. Okay, but actually with me, mine just felt like period cramps. Strong period cramps. Of course they elevated, but by this time when I actually got into my room, that's all it felt like. They were just strong period cramps, like down below, like down low. So I get on the birthing ball. That was not for me, and the reason why is because when I got on it, for me it felt like my cramps got like all in one spot, and I was like knotted up. I just couldn't do it. That wasn't for me. For me, personally, the way I was coping was like bending over. Oh, sorry, y'all see my dog? I'm sorry. Bending over like on all fours, or just leaning over forward. That helped me out a lot. Getting like a lower back massage, or just pushing my back in, like down there. That felt good. Just many different distractions that just helped me out, like those. And then for some reason I got to the point where my legs started getting real weak, so I really couldn't like lean over anymore, because like they were like buckling. So I'm like, okay, nope, gotta get back in the bed, which I really did not want to do, because when you're sitting in the bed, like that's your body going against gravity, compared to if I was standing up. The gravity would help her push, like come down even further, faster than what it would do laying in the bed. So I made sure I wasn't laying down in the bed. I made sure I was like sit up, not all the way up like this, but I was kind of like this, like kind of reclined just a little bit, and just letting it happen, just flowing with it. My mama was like reciting like some verses in the Bible. You know, I had Elijah there. Just having that support system just there with you, just there. That's all I really wanted and all I really needed at that moment. And so eating my ice chips, I finally realized when I was actually having contractions was the best time for me personally to eat my ice chips, because for me it helped me focus. And also, as they were getting stronger and I was getting close, my nurse kept coming in and she checked me, because I kept feeling the urge like, oh my goodness, I have to go to the bathroom, I have to do a number 2. Like, she's like, no, you know, that's your baby, like, it's okay, like, you don't have to use it, just your baby, just be careful, do not push, because it's not time for you to push it. It's like, okay, well, you know, I need you to check me, can you please check me? So she checked me. By this time I was probably like about 7 or 8 centimeters maybe. And so I was like, okay, you know, I really was ready for my actual doctor to be there, because it just so happened she was on call that weekend, because she's part-time. She was actually on call that weekend. I love her, because I was actually in her centering group. So if you're in Tyler, Texas, and you want like a great support system outside of your family and friends, of a doctor who's been there, done that, and just help explain things so much better for you, then let me know and I can give you her information, because these classes were everything. Like, they really helped me out. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, I'm waiting on her. They already reached out letting her know, you know, all that good stuff. So I'm just waiting, because I'm ready to well, I was ready to push, but my baby wasn't ready to come yet. So by this time, so she checked, y'all, and I was like getting closer. So I'm like eating my ice chips through my contractions. I'm focusing on it was like a phone in front of me, and it had like one red button. That one red button was my focal point. All I did was eat them ice chips and focus on that point. And of course, you know, no yelling or screaming. I didn't do that. If anything, if I made any noises, it was like you know, inhaling, exhaling. I'm a little more dramatic, so it probably was a, you know, a little more louder than that, but not like nothing crazy, just, you know, something like that. So yeah, I was just doing that stuff over and over as the time go by, which it really wasn't. It felt like forever, but it really wasn't that much time. So by this time, my water, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, my water have not broken yet. So my nurse come in and she's like, you ready for me to check you again? I'm like, yes, please check me. I was 9 centimeters. And she's like, okay, we can go ahead and break your water. I'm like, yes, because I am ready to push. Like, every time my contractions was coming, I was ready to push. So they went ahead, they had another doctor come in and break my water, like, you know. And then by the time they broke my water, oh my goodness, boop, I went straight to 10 centimeters and my baby was ready and she was starting to cry. I was like, oh my goodness, like, I need to push. Then thankfully my actual doctor, who I've been doing my centering classes with, came in at the perfect time, right then and there. I was so excited. And she's like putting on everything, trying to get ready. And I'm like, you know, they put me up in the sternums. I think that's how you say it. Oh, I think. Light on me, you know, get me ready. And I'm just like, yes, come on, I'm ready. Telling me that when I have my contractions, to go ahead and get ready to push. We're just going to do 3 sets of push, 10 seconds, the whole, like, 10 seconds. So I'm doing that, you know, I'm pushing, long story short, with that part, it took me about 20 to 30 minutes to get her out. And like, of course, finally I figured out the perfect position, like the perfect spot to push. Remind you, I've been doing all these different workouts and everything that you see above, and those Kegels, however you say it, those right there are a lifesaver. Because basically where you do your Kegels exercise at, that's the spot you're supposed to push at. And that's going to give you a better push to get your baby out without having any hemorrhoids, without tearing that bad. Like, that right there is going to help get you through. So by the time it was time for the last push, like, you know, I have a lot of people around, nurses, different doctors, the lady that's going to take care of the baby when she came out, my mama, my boyfriend. It got to the point where they can see she was ready. They kept telling me, you know, I see hair, I see hair. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm like tired, I'm exhausted, but I'm like, I have to get my baby out. And it got to the point where my boyfriend, like, he haven't been saying that the whole time. He just kind of like looking, observing, making sure he's there. But my mama been saying stuff. So when it got to the point where both of them, my mama and my boyfriend, both was like, push. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, she must be like ready. So I made sure I went ahead and I pushed. And then that last push, boof, like my baby girl came out. And it was like so amazing. Like, oh my goodness, like I did that. Like I just couldn't believe that. So yeah, I pushed her out. They put her on my chest for us to do like skin to skin. It was just so beautiful, amazing feeling, like to have my baby girl, because I've been waiting to see how she look and all those good things. And then after that, like while they was doing, like while I'm like interacting with her, it was time for me to actually deliver the placenta. So I really thought that was gonna be like really bad and hurt, but I mean, for me, with my pain tolerance on the scale of 1 to 10, it was probably like a 5. And it's because I'm like trying to make sure I'm focusing on my baby. But the only thing that kind of bothered me was like when they actually like pushing on your stomach and stuff. Like that's kind of weird and sensitive, because you know you just had your baby in there. So taking it out was but it happened real quick. But taking it out was like, it was like a mild pain tolerance for me personally. They took it out, that was it. With me going through all the different things I did to help me have my baby natural, have a natural labor and delivery, I only needed like 2 little stitches on each side. Like I didn't even tear that bad at all. And then I didn't have like no hemorrhoids or anything like that. That was pretty much it. Yes. And then postpartum, of course, you know, you have your postpartum routines and different things like that. So if you guys like want to know stuff about that, like the postpartum things that I did, then I could do a video on that. But yeah, so that was my healthy labor and delivery story. Bye.